Inventory is still climbing, but instead of heating up, the market is stretching out. If it feels slower out there, well, that's because it is. In this video, I'm breaking down the real numbers from May 2025 for residential properties across central Georgia, that area between Atlanta and Macon. Now stick around to the end because one of the counties just saw the slowest sale pace in over a year, and what's happening there may be an early warning for where we're headed next. In May, the months of supply across the region dropped to 4.3, from 5.5 in April and 5.0 in March. Now that might sound like a shift toward a seller's market, but it's not. This dip came from slower listing activity and fewer new contracts, not from buyer demand surging. The average sales price in May dropped to $363,205. That's down from $372,000 in April, but still up from $351,000 in March, and about 2.5% higher year over year. So prices are still holding, but they're not rising evenly. Some counties are sliding, and other counties are just stuck. Homes sold for an average of 94.9% of their original list price. That's down a little bit from 95.2% in April and 0.4% lower than last year. Sellers are making more concessions, now averaging around 2.5% across the region, and buyers are feeling more comfortable negotiating again. The average time to sell a home in May was 52 days. That's faster than April's 69-day average, but still well above last May's 44 days. This market isn't stalling, but it is slowing, especially at higher price points. Buyers are taking their time. Now in May, mortgage rates held fairly steady. A 30-year fixed was 6.6% to 6.9%. 15-year was around 6 to 6.3%. Inflation dropped to 2.3% in April, going closer to the Fed's 2% target, but rate cuts are still on hold for now. Meanwhile, affordability pressure is easing just a tiny bit. Realtor.com reports that the typical monthly mortgage payment actually dropped 1% year over year. That's the first annual decline in a long time. If you want to maximize that, you should really think about asking for a rate buy-down credit or explore new construction where average rates are often lower than resale. Here's what stood out to me in May, and it's really more about psychology than pricing. The fear of overpaying is real. Even serious buyers are hesitating unless the home feels worth the full ask. That tension is stalling deals that really should be moving. We're seeing more mid-listing price corrections. Sellers are adjusting based on feedback, and that's a sign that overpriced homes aren't getting grace periods anymore. Buyers want turnkey. Move-in ready homes are getting attention. Project homes, not so much, unless the discount is clear and steep. Price cuts are becoming normal. Nationally, 18% of listings had a price reduction in April, and that's the highest share in over a year. Inventory is up, especially in the South. More options means less urgency. Buyers can afford to be picky, and sellers cannot afford to be sloppy. The bottom line, this isn't a market in crisis, but it is a market in reset. Sellers have to earn the offer, and buyers have to act when the fit is right. It's not about winning, it's about alignment. Let's take a look at what's happening in each county because price trends and buyer behavior vary a lot depending on where you live. Let's start with Butts County, where the average price was $298,359. Days on market was 32 days and months of supply was 6.3. Butts County pulled back sharply in May. After April's price spike, we're back under 300,000. With the highest months of supply across the region, sellers here are seeing longer timelines and more pushback on price. In Lamar County, the average price was $284,303, days on market 30 days, and months of supply 3.6. Lamar is still moving, just more cautiously. Prices dipped, but homes are selling in about a month. Mid-200s to low 300s remains the strongest range. In Henry County, the average price was $360,172. The days on market is 36 days and months of supply is 4.5. Henry is steady but softening. Inventory remains high and buyers are negotiating harder. If you're not priced competitively or move-in ready, you're likely going to sit there for a while. In Monroe County, the average price was $376,204 and average days on market is 27 days. Months of supply was only 3.3. Monroe's the fastest paced market in the region. Homes are moving quickly and list to sell ratios are strong. If you're priced right, this market still moves. In Jasper County, the average price was $353,689. Days on market is 24 days and months of supply was 5.5. Jasper was one of the only counties where prices actually increased, but with 5.5 months of supply, sellers can't afford to overreach. Homes that are priced well and move-in ready are still winning here. In Spalding County, The average price was $278,937. Days on market's only 28 days and months of supply is 4.2. Spalding remains the most affordable and one of the fastest moving markets in the region. Concessions are normal, but homes are still moving quickly if they're under $300,000. This is still the go-to spot for budget-conscious buyers. The market is always shifting, and that's why I do these updates every month. If you're thinking about buying or selling, or if you're just wanting to keep a smart eye on what's happening, you don't have to figure it out all by yourself. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you're subscribed to my monthly newsletter. It only goes out one time a month, and it's packed with value. In it, you'll see this full market breakdown, buyer and seller Q&As, local events around Central Georgia, and even a few things that I'm personally loving or learning that month. I'm not going to spam you and I'm not going to pressure you, just real information straight to your inbox. The link to subscribe is in the description. Let's make it make sense together.